Hello and welcome. My name is Andy Crick, and I'm your host for this training topic, which is one that can make or break your business: conflict resolution. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And how I do that is most weeks I try to go live on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. This week, we're in the people and performance pillar, and we're talking about conflict resolution. Every garage owner will experience conflict at one time. Sometimes it's an angry customer at the counter questioning a bill. Other times it's a member of staff complaining. Conflict is part and parcel of running a business. The key is not to avoid it, but to handle it in a way that builds trust, protects relationships. Done well, conflict can actually become an opportunity to strengthen your business. But done badly, and it can cost you customers, staff, and even your reputation. So over the next 15, maybe 20 minutes, we'll cover why conflict happens at garages, how to resolve customer conflicts, how to resolve staff conflicts using a simple framework that you can use every time. So let's dive right in. Why does conflict happen in garages? Well, garages are high-pressure environments. Customers are spending money on something they don't fully understand, and staff are working under both time pressure and on complex jobs. If you put all of those together, conflict becomes inevitable. For customers, conflict usually comes from communication gaps. I didn't realize it would take this long. And expectations. I thought this would cost less, which lead to trust issues. Do I really need this work done? For staff, the main causes are inequality. One technician may feel that they're always getting the tough jobs, or standards of work, frustration where another member of staff is slower, less careful, or maybe even inconsistent. But here's the truth. Conflict is a signal. It shows you where there's a gap, whether it be in expectations, communication, or fairness. If you treat it as feedback, you can use it to continuously improve your business. The Atomic Success MBA, where the MBA stands for more, better, or additional, conflict resolution is an area we could all do better in. We don't want to do more of it, but we definitely need to do it better. Let's look at the 2 different types of conflict, starting with customer conflicts. And let's walk through a scenario every garage owner will recognize: the unexpected bill. So you picture this. A customer comes to collect their car. You hand them over the invoice. It's £750. They thought it would be £500. Their face drops, their voice rises. How do you respond? The natural reaction is to defend yourself, to defend your business, to defend your staff. The labor took longer than we expected, and the part was more expensive, but that will only fuel the fire. Instead, try using a framework. The framework I've chosen to use in this training topic is called the LARA framework, where you listen first. So don't interrupt. Let the customer tell you while they're upset. Often, they just want to feel heard. They want to get their complaint off their chest, and they'll feel better for doing it. And then acknowledge. Say, I can see this isn't the figure you were expecting. And then give them a chance to respond and yourself a chance to respond. Let's go through the breakdown together so we can see exactly what's what is included, and what you thought wasn't. And then finally act. Offer a path forward. If you failed to call them about the extra cost, own it. If the work was necessary, but the communication was unclear, take responsibility for that. You might offer a goodwill discount, if appropriate. Use it on a case-by-case basis. Because here's the thing. Customers will rarely leave over the size of a bill. They'll leave because of how they were treated when they raised the concern. And if you think about the LARA framework, which is listen, acknowledge, respond, then act, you can go through this with the customer. It's very difficult to just stand there and take it, but listen carefully when they're complaining. And then the best way to acknowledge is to reiterate what they were complaining about. in their own words, if you like. So that's acknowledging it. They'll feel heard. They know that you've understood their complaint, and then respond together. Now, they can respond to you acknowledging, or you can respond to the complaint. But the key thing is that you offer a path forward. You act. So let's move inside the workshop and let's look at staff conflicts. Staff conflicts can be trickier because they're always ongoing. Customers come and go, cars leave, but the staff must work together every day. So you get a technician who says to you, why do I always get the big jobs while he just gets the easy services? That doesn't feel too much of a conflict. Left unchecked, that resentment could grow. It could lead to poor morale, less teamwork, and eventually a member of staff leaving, increasing staff turnover. So here's one way to handle it. And make sure the conversations you have are private. Never tackle it on the shop floor. Speak to the technician separately and speak to the other technician. Do that listening. But listen to both sides and acknowledge what they're both saying. Maybe the workload isn't as bad as it feels, or maybe it is. Listening and acknowledging will uncover the truth. And then you need to respond. But in this case, you could use data to respond. Check job cards, hours, completed tasks. Facts take emotion out of the equation. And then create fairness when you act. If there's an imbalance, fix it. Rotate tasks, redistribute work, or train staff to share the more complex jobs. By dealing with disputes quickly and fairly, you show that your team that you value their views. That builds trust in your leadership. It also offers you the opportunity to improve as a leader because your staff want to be heard and they want to be treated fairly. It's not too much to ask. We're all very, very busy, and sometimes we just don't take time to listen. Once we listen, we should acknowledge, respond. And that is the basis of what we call the LARA framework. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a customer or a staff member, every conflict can be managed with this simple framework. LARA, listen, acknowledge, respond. When you're listening, don't cut them off. Let them have their say. Let them speak. Acknowledge, show you understand their perspective. You may not agree with it, but you understand it. Respond, use facts, evidence, or provide solutions. And then act. Agree the next step, but make sure you follow through. So let me repeat the LARA framework and what it stands for, because it's worth remembering. Listen, acknowledge, respond, act. And this framework works best because it moves the conversation away from emotion and towards resolution. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be understood. You might not agree, but at least you've understood their perspective. And then you can move forward. Until you understand someone's grievance, you don't know if you can move forward. If you don't listen, you don't know what that grievance is. So here's something really powerful that you can use when using the LARA framework, because conflict can actually strengthen your business if you handle it well. So with customers, a complaint resolved often turns them into some of your most loyal advocates. They tell others, yes, there was an issue, but the garage sorted it out brilliantly. You can turn your C types into A types using the LARA framework. So if you're not familiar with my customer classification, I have 4 types of customer that I classify into, and they fit into broad categories from A to D. And an A type is your advocate, your best type of customer. Your B types, your basics, are the customers that give you no bother. Your C types are what I call complainers. Your D types are your drainers. We want to avoid D types, but C types are customers you can probably work with if you took the time to listen, acknowledge, respond, and act. The reason you need to listen to your C types is they could be showing you something that's blatantly wrong within your business that if you fixed it, could improve everything. Now, what happens if a complaining customer gets a resolution that's in their favor, or they feel like you've listened to them and acknowledged them? They can often turn into B or even A types. With staff, resolving disputes openly and fairly clears the air. It improves teamwork and shows that you're a fair leader. I like to think of it as proof of your professionalism. So turning conflict into communication and then cooperation is really the key. A customer starts with "Cynthia," and this is never good in my experience and can be really frustrating to say the least. "Cynthia replaced my alternator. My car doesn't connect to my phone." It's annoying, isn't it? You squeeze them in. One of your staff even stayed on late to get it done. You even drove to the dealership to get the parts, to make sure they could have their car back the same day. And here they are, picking a fight over their phone's Bluetooth connection. The key is to stay professional and use the LARA framework. Listen, let them have their say. "Since you replaced my alternator, my car does not connect to my phone. It was working before." Acknowledge. So repeat what they said in your own words and ask them what they expect from you. So you say, "So what you're saying is, it could connect before, but since we've worked on it, your car no longer connects. And what do you want us to do?" And reassure with, "I understand your frustration, but if it is something we've done, we will do everything we can to sort it out for you." And then act. Let's see why it's not connected together. This was a real case, and the replacement alternator had created a problem on the network, unbeknown to us. Multiple attempts to connect various phones and still no Bluetooth connection. Yet when you unplugged the alternator, any phone could connect immediately. By listening, acknowledging, reassuring, and acting, you can protect your reputation and maintain trust. Conflict resolution requires open lines of communication and cooperation if it's to be successful. You have to listen, you have to work with. So let's wrap this up. Conflict in a garage is inevitable. You're dealing with people, technology, and money. So sparks will fly. But how you handle those sparks determines whether they burn bridges or build relationships. The next time a customer questions a bill or a technician raises an issue, remember the LARA method. Listen, acknowledge, respond. And here's my challenge to you this week. Take one conflict, be it a customer or a member of staff, and deliberately use the LARA method. See if it changes the outcome. Because that's how small changes can lead to massive results. If you think about it, every time there is conflict, it is a signal to you that something's not quite right within the business. And this could be your opportunity to fix it. But it can only be your opportunity to fix it if you listen, acknowledge, respond, most importantly, act. So if you found this helpful, share it with another garage or someone who's dealing with a bit of conflict right now. This even works outside of work. So remember, if you should, you must. And what's stopping you is probably starting. So until next time, handle conflict with confidence and turn it into an opportunity to improve business. Thanks for listening. See you next time.